What I want to do today is, the topic is Kavanah Halev B'Tfilas HaAmidah. It's we are still continuing to focus on davening, on specifically the Amidah, and I think it's talking about an issue which is quite important. We know Kavanah. I've talked about the Israeli army. They have a Kavanah, right? They for like target. So the question is, what is our target? What do you want to hit? What do you want to be focused on in terms of our davening? This is not esoteric, the Zohar and the Kabbalah, the Rizal, in terms of the the hidden secrets that exist. This is before Lag Bomer. It's the times of the Sodos. So the question is exactly what do we need to be focused on? What do we need to know? What's important and what's essential? So take a look. We're going to actually begin by the Torah, source number 1. מחשבתו כיצד, התנא מתפלל צריך שיכוון ליבו שנאמר תכין ליבם פירוש שיכוון פירוש המילות שמוציא בשפתיו. That a person actually has to understand what they're saying. Can you believe it? You actually understand what you are saying, right? If you don't understand what you're saying, that's why God created our scroll, right? That's one. Next, continues the Torah. Yachshov ki'ilu shchina kinegdo. A person has to be cognizant of the fact that the shchina isn't literally in front of them, as it says, shivis Hashem l'negdi tamid. Okay, and not only that, but you also have to make sure that you're not being distracted by any type of foreign thoughts at all. Therefore, a person can be focused on what they're doing. So we see that, meaning in order to accomplish clearly step 1 and step 2, you need to make sure that 3 is intact. You have to make sure that you're not being distracted by anything. You have to make sure that there's nothing that's going to take your mind off of it. And those are issues that we spoke about a little bit the past couple of times, right, in terms of what you can do to ensure that you have the right kavanah. Again, we mentioned that in the past. Let's continue reading the Torah. Hayom kan u'machar b'kever. Haya. If a person had an entrance with the king, if a person had an opportunity to speak to the prime minister, so you're going to go and go,
batteries flashing.
Oh no, I didn't switch the battery. Okay, we'll see how far it lasts. Right? And if that's the case, a person will know exactly, shagur b'fiv, it has to come out, it has to be clear, it has to be concise. You don't just start mumbling and rambling, you'd never do that. You have a prepared speech. Let's face it, speaking, God, can hear and think, He knows it all. So it's all about your intent and your focus that really matters. מתבודדים, מכוונים בתפילתם, שיהיו מגיעים להתפשטות הגשמיות ולהתגברות רוח השכלית עד שיהיו מגיעים קרוב למעלת הנבואה. And the original Hasidim, this is not referring to Hasidim like the modern day Hasidim, this is referring to the pious people who have various Tanaim, they prepared themselves properly for davening and literally would almost attain the level of prophecy. And in fact, these words are echoed, these words are etched. These words of the Torah, not surprisingly, are actually written down and brought down by Shulchan Aruch in source number 2. A person has to know, and again, same language as the Torah, and they don't need to read it twice. Okay, what I want to show you is, however, go down, source number 2. The only thing I think that was added when I was looking it over before, go to source 2, the end, which is the Ramah. The Ramah adds, Asur la'adam lenashek banav ha'ktanim b'beit HaKnesset. A person is not allowed to kiss their kids in shul. This is something which people are often machshilin. They're not allowed to kiss your kids during davening. So I remember specifically a case. How does this work? So, is it kissing during davening, or is it kissing in shul? There's a big chiluk between the two. And apparently, really, it's only kissing during davening. A person is allowed to kiss and hug. They're allowed to... Yeah. A person is permitted to demonstrate love and affection towards one child. It's not a din of Beit Knesset. It's a din of tefillah. Because it's brought down by din tefillah. So it's a din of tefillah. When the person or when the tzibur is engaged in tefillah, the only ahava is ahavat Hashem. Not the only, but at that moment that has to take priority. Therefore, we don't do any physical actions that demonstrate the ahava even of one's children. When it comes to regularly, the drink. By the way, and maybe one could argue during Kabbalah Shabbos, where it doesn't necessarily the din tefillah, or definitely, if it's at a wedding, right, when would we actually be allowed to do it? First of all, hugging in front of an Aron Kodesh is not so simple either. It's also problematic, right? But anyways, generally speaking, it's not necessarily a din of a shul, it's not din of Beit Knesset, it's a din of tefillah. I think it's an important message, but that's how important this idea is of focusing during davening. Okay, so we see here there's two dimensions. One is focus on what we're saying, and the other is being focused and not being distracted by anything. And in fact, take a look at this. Source number 3 says in Mishabura, don't worry about the incantations. By the way, this is Mishabura clearly is speaking out against certain sects of Judaism, right? He says, don't worry about the deeper incantations and meanings of the Shemas of Hashem. Right? Rather, just daven simply. So you know what you're doing, what you're saying. And take a look at the Magen Avraham in the name of the Zohar. You got to know what you're doing. You have to know what you are saying. Better to say less and know what you're saying than say more and have it appear to be Chinese. Okay. I'm assuming no one here speaks Chinese. I think that's a fair assumption. Take a look at the Rambam. Take a look at 4. A person had mamash. You need to think you're really speaking in front of the Shekhinah. Right? And it's a very difficult thing to do, especially because we're so used to davening, right? It appears to us almost something which is quite mundane, yet nonetheless, we need to figure out things in order to ensure that we're going to have the right focus. You have to sometimes pause before davening. Don't just jump right into it. Maybe think for a second. Wait, what am I doing? What am I here for? In order to reach this level. If a person is distracted by something, better, and this is what I do, better to come 30 seconds into davening and finish what's bothering you. Right? Send that text message, send that email, and deal with it, then walk into shul. There's nothing worse than going to shul and you have this you got to figure out. And right, it's very, very distracting. That's why mincha is such a difficult tefillah often, right? You know what I mean? It's at 2:00 in the afternoon at York, right? And like you're coming and you're going and you're in between, right? It's very, very distracting sometimes. Mincha, right? Shachar is sometimes a little bit half asleep. It's not so distracted, just half asleep. His advantage being half asleep. I don't know, because he's not distracted. Everything I guess has a mila to it, right? Don't daven as there's a burden on you. Oh, I got to daven. You know what I mean? There's like this burden on you, like this weight. Oh, I'm about to lose half hour of my life. You know what I'm saying? Also, you shouldn't dart at a shul. Right? Later on, we talk about the laws of Beit Knesset. You know, you're not allowed to run out of a shul, right? I'm sure you're all familiar with that. But even that's a din tefillah. Forget din Beit Knesset. Again, we're focused on din tefillah here. You don't just, dart out. Rather, you should pause for a couple seconds before and after the actual tefillah. And again, I'm sure you're all familiar with this. Chasedim Rishim, again, not the Baba verse, Rishim shalachad kodem tefillah. They're literally for an hour before davening. Shalachad lachad tefillah, and an hour actual morichim b'tefillah shah. Okay, 3-hour davening for a weekday is not going to fly. That's just not going to happen. Not even in the Hasidic world today. Okay? Even Shabbos 3-hour davening is not going to fly, right? So Allah had to come on a Tuesday. So, but okay, you understand what I'm saying.
But even if you're rushing out of davening, you stay for.
So he says, "Ma'ad." He says, "Don't literally dart out. You should finish davening." Which is the question: you have to sit down. Does he have to sit down? He says, "Le'ashev ma'ad." So the question is, it's up in Yosef by Asher Vatzion.
Oh, we said.
So really Yosef Matachar Tfilah. So that's maybe what Asher. Right. Maybe that's the purpose of Asher Vatzion.
What if you don't?
I actually never thought of that till right now. Maybe that's what the Rambam is referring to. That's why specifically Chazal made a takan of Asher Vatzion. Maybe. I actually don't know the answer to that question. We'll get to Asher Vatzion at some point in time. What?
If you stand the whole time.
No, for Asher you can't stand for Asher. You sit for Asher.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
You should sit for Asher, right? Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha. Although Yoshvei there probably doesn't mean to sit. What does it mean? To dwell. How do we know? How do we know that Ashrei means to dwell? What do we say by Sukkah? Basukot? Teshuvah. No, it means to dwell. It doesn't mean to sit, right?
So I dwell in Ashrei.
But no, it means to dwell. It means to dwell. The Rambam says it means to sit. That's the Rav Sovishik is very makbid to always sit for Ashrei. Maybe Kavet Tefillah. Anyways, for another time. Now, this is what I want to find. Very good. I'm very excited about this Mishnah Berurah. Somehow I skipped this over earlier today when I was looking it over. Source number 5. Ba'anav HaKtanim. So now the Mishnah Berurah is going on. We read in the Ramah a few minutes ago. This is a very important Mishnah Berurah. He quotes the Shalah, Koret Hagar. He Koratagar is one of my favorite lines. He's, he rips at them. I call Kore. He's scathing. Those people that bring their kids to shul. No, they shouldn't bring kids to shul, but this is what we're referring to. Hainu. Kids are having average chinuch. Why? They sing, they dance in shul. I can't remember. It's not talking about our shuls we have today, which we have hallways and playrooms and stuff. It's talking about if you only have one room in the shul and you bring your kids to that only room in the shul, that's very problematic.
Does he mean literal, like singing and dancing?
He said they would play around the shul. Playing tag in Beit Knesset. What do you mean?
Is that just for children though?
Think about our main shul. It's a great place for tag. Like that's like you don't get a better place for tag. No one's house is that big, right? Just such a big room with a square footage. You can hide in between the stand. Like it's a really good. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of potential there for hide and go seek, right?
Yeah, I see tag event at the bayit.
Inside in the main sanctuary, right? The kids are also distracting. Do you notice that someone, I don't know who did this, put up signs about cell phones? Do you notice this in the shul?
Yeah.
Someone did that. I don't know who did that. There's no way that was sanctioned by the office. How do I know? Because no one would put up a cell phone from like 1987. It's like an embarrassment. You see the phone over there that people have put up? Who has a cell phone like that? Like how do they put a cell phone like that? It's like it has an antenna. Who has an antenna on the phone? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that was sanctioned by anyone rabbinic in the shul. There's absolutely no way. And also, let's face it, a cell phone is not the biggest problem in shul. That's the biggest problem. The cell phone's going off in shul. Everyone knows if it goes off, it's distracting. Everyone realizes it's a mistake.
Really bad the past couple of weeks.
What's worse? Talking. I mean, cell phone is, let's face it, cell phones are not the worst things.
Here, like Mincha and Marv, it's not that
No,
crazy.
no, during the week.
That's what it's for, I think, because there was a couple weeks ago where during
one guy's cell phone went off.
No, 5 separate cell phones went off during
I don't know. I rarely see it.
It got very...
Most people know they put on 5. Everyone knows,
like,
and everyone's very embarrassed by it. I mean, no one... Anyways.
You would think so. You would think after like the third one, you're like, oh, maybe my cell phone is also on.
Kim. Yes, Kino Yasur Mimin Hagam Harasher Nechan Bilodin Le Hash Tagav Levazog Dishabet. Fine. We did already? Oh, Shigul Chinuch. Other Rabbi, if the other Beit Knesset, when the kid reaches Chinuch, by the way, this is a sheer unto itself. What is a Gil Chinuch? It's a famous Machloket Rishonim. What exactly is Gil Chinuch? Is it nine? The answer is depends on the kid. Another kid, not every kid. There are kids who are exceptionally mature and have a tremendous, intellectual ability or spiritual ability at the age of 6, and there are kids at the age of 27 are still very much underdeveloped from a Gil Chinuch. The problem is it kicks in at 12 or 13, regardless if you'd like it or not, right? That's okay. If they teach the kids the way of life, sit with Ema, this is not going to fly so well, right? Don't move from your spot. That's not good. I wouldn't recommend that necessarily so much. Again, different times. What?
Are you implying there's people like that at Shabbos morning?
Yeah. There's a rule I note Amen. Teach your kids to say Amen for Kaddish, for Kedusha. Fine. For Ayin the Tanit Eliyahu. Goda ha'onesh sheyesh la'av. Shemeniach et beno la'anod varim al shal hevel v'tilo beit knesset. Right? So you have to be very careful with the kids in shul. Make sure they respond properly and accordingly. And what to do. Okay, now here's something fascinating. Again, this is of course not practical; it's theoretical. What happens if you don't have kavanah in davening? You have to repeat it. Again, no one here this is practical for, right? In theory, what happens if you don't have kavanah in davening? So here we go. 6. When you daven again, we're really focused here on the Amidah, right? You must have kavanah for all the 19 brachos. Let's see, it's difficult. So again. What does it mean? Remember what we saw? We saw 2. Anyone remember 2 components of kavanah that we saw so far in the tour. What did the tour say? Tour said Chavan Liba, which means you had 2 definitions of Chavan Liba. One was your thoughts just generally focused, and the second one was Pirush Hamilot, understand the words. So that will be important when we flip the page. Let's say the Fachob Yechavin Ba'avot. At least have the kavanah for the first bracha. In no given ba'avot, av which given b'chol hashar, yasor v'tpalal. Says the Shulchan Aruch, you don't have kavanah for avot. Hit the reset button. Says the Rama, no, sorry. Va'idna ein chazrin b'shvil chisaron kavanah. Sorry, says the Rama. In Krakow, from Poland, we do not repeat for lack of kavanah. Now this is something which was said 500 years ago. She'af bechazara karavu shelo yechavein. You can't lama yachzar. There's tremendous hope in the Jewish people. He says, even if you repeat it, who's to say you're going to have kavanah again? It's a very difficult statement by the Ramah, but okay.
Very optimistic outlook.
Very optimistic outlook. Repeat it, you won't have Kavanah again. So you'll see why this will be important. It'll come up again in a couple weeks from now. When I learned before guys in the Gemara, by Chassan classes, it's a Mishnah. You're pater from Gretchen, they're at your wedding. And guess what? You're not pater. Why? Because you have Kavanah anyway. So what's the difference? So it's always interesting, it appears when it comes to Kavanah, it's clearly recognized. Like we're not talking about, Rav Moshe. We're talking about posting of 500 years ago already recognized how difficult it was. When, again, I'm not trying to idealize the time, but, people who don't, maybe perhaps they're Hebrew a little bit more, though they didn't speak Hebrew. It wasn't the vernacular, right? 500 years ago, they didn't speak Hebrew. But nonetheless, we see there was a problem even a long time ago. Take a look at this. Flip the page to the Brisker Rav. Nothing like a good chakira to start your day. Says the Brisker Rav, what's going on here? Especially a contradiction. Nir Lamar, the Tare, Gavne, Kavanah. I tried to highlight this when we were doing the tour. There are two components of Kavanah. One, Kavanah shel perush dvarim. Literally, Baruch, bless. I taught you, right? V'yesodahu din Kavanah. That is the din Kavanah is translation. What word am I saying? Forget, again, the Zohar incantations, right? And the secrets, literally, Moshiach, Magen, right? V'shenit, sheyechaven shu omed b'tfilah l'fnei Hashem. Two different components of Kavanah. One is, Shvita shalom ditamid. I'm standing in front of God. Second, I understand what I'm saying. So I can understand what I'm saying, in theory, and think that I'm standing at the bus stop. Right? And the other opposite. I know I'm in shul. I know I'm davening. I have this concept of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I have no idea what I'm saying. Right? Two different components. Kimuvar b'dvarav. Let's continue. What does he say? Umahi. Here's a quote. Who's he quoting?
Rambam.
He's quoting the Rambam. Okay. Umahi Kavanah. That's why I skipped that. Umahi Kavanah sheflanet libo mikom achshavat v'yirek atzmo kilo omed lifnei Shechina, which we saw in the Rambam already. V'nira the Kavanah zo in midin Kavanah rak shu mi etzem ma'iseh tefillah. Wow. Here we go. So comes along the Reb Chaim and he says two different. Kavanah is translation. But then there's something else called the Ma'iseh Tefillah. What's Ma'iseh Tefillah? Ma'iseh Tefillah means that you're standing in front of God. There are two different components. Ve'im ein libo panui ve'ino ra'et atzmo shomed lifnei Hashem yispalel in the Ma'iseh Tefillah. If you know you're standing in front of God, you have no Ma'iseh Tefillah. Ve'rehu bichlal misasek. It's like by Shabbos, right? I'm misasek. I'm patur. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know. Forget it's ones. I think today's Sunday. I'm not even conscious being. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I flick on a light switch, right? Which we discussed before in the past. What happens if you flick on a light switch 2 in the morning? Just if you think it's Sunday, it's one status. If you're mash misasek, it's different. So again, we're talking about a situation where a person is misasek by davening, right? It's like we discussed before. You're davening. Like, how do you get Yerushalayim Yircha? Like, where did that come from, right? Right? I'm speaking about myself. The ein bo din ma'aseh. You don't have din ma'aseh. That is makev. The makom shav misasek dino kiloid palaklal. Ki'ilu dileg milot ayla. It's like you've skipped everything because you're just not aware. You think you're in front of a bus stop. You think you're at who knows where in school. Excuse me. All 19 brachot are makev. So it's two components. There's ma'aseh tefillah. I'm standing in front of God. If I don't have that, ma'akev, everything. Then the next thing is, a person knows, I'm standing in front of God. I don't speak Hebrew. I don't speak Hebrew. The zed din misum rak b'tefillah levad. Hosefet din kavanah. There's an additional. If you don't understand the words of Shema, it doesn't matter. Say Shema. When it comes to the Amidah, there's an additional demand of Dina Kavanah. Bazehu da'irei asugi on the brachos and daf lamadalin. V'im eno yachol lechaven esli bo b'klum yechavin bechas mehem. That is how the Brisker Rav resolves the contradiction of the Gemara, which seems to say you need Kavanah for everything. The Gemara in the other mouth says you need for avos. Well, what's going on here? And the Brisker Rav says two components. One is perush hamilot. Not really interesting. Right? Perush hamilot. What do you need to know? Avos. What about how then if you have Kavanah for all 19 brachos? No. Says Rabbi Chaim. It's not a matter of understanding the words. It's recognizing you're standing in front of God. That's ma'aseh tefillah. That is ma'akev, even the 7th bracha, if you don't understand you're standing in front of God. All right, just to continue. Just to finish off here, in number 8, Yitpal derech tachnunim, k'rash mevakesh petach, k'rash, like a person who's poor. Benachad v'lo tirah alav k'masoy. Okay, fine, we kind of said that already. Again, it's not ma'akev, says the Mishabura in number 9. Do we have time for one more? Yeah, we'll go to Chiv Nashim Tefillah. Is that okay? Give me 5 minutes, yeah? That's good? See, no, it's okay, that's fine. 5 minutes, I'll be done. Hashtag B'Tefillah Shon Esrei. I'm not here Thursday, by the way. I have a bar mitzvah. That guy's bar mitzvah? It's bar mitzvah, so I'm not going to be here Thursday mornings. And I better make sure I bring a kippah, yeah. Okay. What happens, this is a funny line, you'll see why. I am reading the Shulchan Aruch, number 10. Uba behema, or karon kinegdo. A guy's davening, and all of a sudden there's like a wagon, right? Or an animal. So again, when they say mitpalel b'derech, they literally mean mitpalel b'derech, right? Like you're davening on the path, you're davening on the road, right? So what should you do? Just veer off of it, don't stop. But for anything else, don't move until you finish davening. Tachanunim is referring to tachanun. So we even see that it's clear that tachanun is an appendage to davening. There's no question. You really can't split the two at all. I mean, this is like leg bum or something. What about if you have a snake that's by your ankle? Lo yafsik. Don't stop. Now, listen. You can go for a walk, and again, you're literally davening on the derech. You're davening on the path, right? You can shake off the leg. You want to run that snake to fall off. But if it's a scorpion, no, you got to stop. Because let's face it, a scorpion is much more liable to bite you. And again, if this snake is going to bite you, it'll be the same idea. Meaning, dangerous animals versus annoying animals, right? Okay. So we see here that for sakana, it's very different than for if you're tarud. So there's one of tarud, you should just remove the tirda, versus if it's dangerous, you do whatever you can, of course. That's a totally different category, which I'm sure is quite obvious. And number 11, this is a very important Mishnah Berurah in terms of hierarchies, in terms of what do you do in certain situations. Kol asif zeh ve'shacher zo mazkir hefsek mayre hacha al yidei dibur v'dei alicha mutter. It's clear when it comes to hefsek. Not all hefsek are created equally. A lowest level hefsek is called walking. A higher level hefsek is called talking. Much better to walk than to talk. So that's why to walk, to shake that snake off, or to remove the distraction, or to move off the path, because that's fine. But to talk and say, slow down, or go make a right, I'm davening Shon Esrei, assuming they understand, what you're doing, right? That's definitely not so appropriate. So better to walk than it is to talk. It's a good line. Fine, obviously referring to remove the snake, obviously sakana. But if not l'tzorach mikra alicha gam k'tzad hafsaka. Walking for no reason is also a hafsaka. Klomar halicha hi k'tzad hafsaka. If there's a tzorach, you can go for a walk. By the way, if your phone's ringing, let's say you're at home. The phone rings because it's not going to happen because there's a sign on the wall. Right? So you're at home and the phone rings. You would be allowed to walk over, and this is going to ring for, how long does the ringer go for? 20 seconds?
Sure.
You could, in theory, go over to the phone, pick it up, hit the off, put it down, continue davening. You can also stop for those 20 seconds. Maybe that's even better, just to stop. Let's say the person will come back again. And again and again and again. There's one of those types of people, right?
Still gonna come back.
So they hang up, they're going to start... Oh, that's a good point. So they hang up, put it on... I don't know.
Hey, even more so, they go away.
They go beep, 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 or something. Or talking to the phone in the...
You do the...
Baruch atah, right, exactly. You see, it's like your mother-in-law or something called it. So, okay. If you talk into the phone, they'll stop. All right. Next. Comes Mishnah Berurah in 12 and says he goes ballistic. When they do Kriya Nishtachaviyah, when the Baalei Tefillah do that, when they do Kriya Nishtachaviyah, they walk and then they bow. And he says that's a problem. He says it's totally inappropriate. And obviously he's going to footnote there the Sif by Hilchos Yom Kippurim. Ella, what do? We should give him a stender, move it away, and then he has lots of room to bend. Okay. not in test in this Mishnah Berurah. Does mutter ima kira tzorach misatzad? If it's a person, by the way, in Tachanun even you can't even just simply walk around. Tachanun has a din of tefillah. You have to literally finish davening and go down. Kigon mashanun agim b'shatz techav v'chayachas at tefillah o keragla v'yoshev v'tachanun. Literally, the Baal tefillah finishes davening and does tachanun. M'kamo shenogin lomar tachanun b'yeshiva m'chen ola lebima l'krat Torah afshal ygia dain like. Okay, he deals here with a bit of a side issue. But think about it for a second. When is the siyum hatefillah? If you're a shloch tzibor, only when you say titkabel tzloton v'oton, the long kaddish. That long kaddish of titkabel is going on the amida. Titkabel tzloton, may God accept our prayers and our supplications. What is that modifying? That's modifying the amida. That took place 5 minutes ago. Think about it. Deva Kresa Torah. Kresa Torah is Ashrei Tzivot Tzion Kadishalem. So the Baal Tefillah cannot talk. It's mamash a hefsek for Baal Tefillah to talk, right?
So how can you switch?
So you have to. Oh, that's a very good question. Because the guy who's taking over says that he's so davening his own personal shenas, right? That's one of the reasons. And it's also going on with Val Tzion, which is Geula, which is mini tefillah, right? Baruch Kavod Hashem.
No, right. So why would you be able to switch?
Because at the end of the day, it's still going on. Titkabot Sloton of Aton isn't just the Chazot Hashatz of the Chazan. It's on everyone's tefillah. My tefillah is. But he's doing on behalf of the tzibur.
Oh, okay.
So for him to, that's why speaking by Ashrei Val Tzion is very problematic. Okay.